Everyone always laughs at the funny things that happen in Peppa Pig. But have you ever thought that some episodes of The Little Pink Pig are actually quite shocking? Mr. Fox. Let's start by talking about one of the most suspicious characters in the world of Peppa Pig, Mr. Fox. In the episode where Peppa and George sleep over at their grandparents' house, something truly strange happens. Grandpa Pig is showing the chickens to his grandkids, explaining how they live on the farm. At a certain point, he reveals that some chickens have mysteriously disappeared from the coop over the last few nights. And guess who shows up just then? Mr. Fox! In a scene that feels straight out of a horror movie, Grandpa Pig points his flashlight, and Mr. Fox is illuminated, looking less than trustworthy. He tries to play it off, but everything points to him being behind the disappearances. We know that, in real life, foxes are known for being sneaky and for snatching chickens at night. Could Mr. Fox have something to confess? Pretty suspicious, right? So, we can say it's pretty clear that Freddy Fox's dad is a thief, and everyone knows it, including Grandpa Pig. That's really shocking. Get ready, because today, we're going to show you 11 truly shocking moments from Peppa Pig. So, put on your golden boots and join us as we dive into Peppa's incredible world. Fake opening. What if I told you that everything in Peppa Pig is just one big act? Would you believe it? That's right! In the episode TV Land, from Season 6, we find out that Peppa's family interactions might actually be just an act. It all begins when Peppa and her family are watching her favorite show, Super Potato. Right at the start of the episode, Mummy Pig sings the opening song, and everyone comments on how the melody is always the same. Plus, they mention that the actors in the show look very different, even taller than they seem on screen. The family then visits the TV studio where the shows are filmed, and Peppa is invited to act in front of the cameras. She accepts and recites the same lines we hear in the opening of her own show. Susie and her mom watch this scene on TV, and Susie even calls Peppa to comment. Could this mean that every time we see the show's opening, Peppa and her family are acting? To make it even stranger, Miss Rabbit says that Peppa can now be on TV hundreds and hundreds of times while looking directly at the camera. Isn't that weird? When we saw this, it became clear that Miss Rabbit seemed to have some kind of sinister plan involving everyone in Peppa's town. Mr. Potato. Let's talk about a rather strange character, Mr. Potato. He's adored by kids and tolerated by adults, mostly for promoting good eating habits. His song emphasizes the importance of a diet rich in vegetables. But hold on a second. Mr. Potato is a vegetable himself. Does this mean he's encouraging everyone to eat his own kind? It's hard not to find that a bit odd. After all, he's the only talking vegetable in the series. Could he be the last of his species after all the other vegetables were eaten? Thinking about it is a bit shocking, right? Parachute jump. Daddy Pig is one of those characters who's always looking for new adventures, even if unintentionally. In one of the tensest episodes of Season 7, Mummy Pig decides, somewhat pushed by Peppa, to do something extreme, go skydiving. Her husband then decides to join her in this wild idea. Everything seems fine up until the moment of the jump, when Mummy Pig is visibly nervous. Daddy Pig, trying to be fearless, reaches the edge of the plane door and accidentally falls out. Yes, he falls without a parachute. Panicked, Mummy Pig jumps right after him and manages to grab him in midair. But as if the scare wasn't enough, Daddy Pig ends up landing on the school and breaking the roof, which was under repair. In the end, Mr. Bull suggests they jump again to raise funds to fix the school's roof. Daddy Pig, better be careful next time, okay? If you're also a Peppa Pig fan and are finding all of this as surprising as we are, comment Piggy down below. Strange friendships. In Peppa Pig's universe, many aspects are quite similar to our world. Kids go to school, adults work, and everyone lives their lives. However, there's something a bit different. Friendships between different animal species, even between predators and prey. For example, Dr. Bear, the town's doctor, treats little George when he falls ill. The checkup seems normal, but let's be real. In real life, this wouldn't end well. After all, bears are carnivores. Imagine the risk George would face if this doctor followed his bear instincts. It makes us wonder, even in Peppa's town, could some animals give in to their instincts? We've seen Mr. Fox follow his impulses, so could Mr. Bear have similar moments? Just the thought of it is a bit frightening. Different home. Throughout Peppa's town, it's common to see almost all houses sitting high up on hills. Residents usually need a car to reach their homes, which makes sense, as climbing these hills would be hard work. But if you look closely, there's one family that stands out from this pattern. Guess who? The rabbit family. They live in an underground house, a place that's deep, dark, and far from the sunny hilltops. To get there, you have to enter the ground and go down a path that seems to get darker with every step. And just because they're rabbits doesn't mean they should have to live like that, right? While all the other animals in town enjoy sunny homes with panoramic views, the rabbits are isolated underground. Strange, don't you think? Sometimes, it even seems like they're purposely excluded, as if there's something that sets them apart from other residents. Could there be some kind of discrimination going on? Maybe that's why the children in this family have some unique quirks, like little Richard Rabbit, who's very afraid of stairs. Rebecca Rabbit even tells Peppa about it. Sometimes, it feels like this family lives somewhat on the edge, without much attention from the others. Strange barbecue. In the episode, The Fire Engine, the townsmen gather for a bit of fun. Mr. Bull, Mr. Rabbit, Mr. Pony, Mr. Zebra, and Daddy Pig decide to have a barbecue together and hang out. The idea is to spend a relaxing afternoon among friends. But there's something a little strange here. They get together, and it looks like it'll be a great time between friends. But have you ever wondered what they're actually grilling? What kind of barbecue is it? If we pay attention, among them, there's a zebra, a rabbit, and a pony, who are probably vegetarians. But what about Mr. Bull and Daddy Pig? These two represent common meats at barbecues. Do they really know what they're doing, or are they just going along with the fun? It makes you wonder, what kind of barbecue are these friends planning to have? Mr. Wolf, speaking of strange gatherings, there's a situation that's downright chilling to remember. In the episode, The New House, there's a somewhat bizarre scene between Mr. Wolf and Daddy Pig. As we know, Daddy Pig is an architect or engineer and has built several houses around town, one of them being Mr. Wolf's house. So far, so normal. But when Daddy Pig goes to officially hand over the house to its new owner, things get tense. The way Mr. Wolf looks at the pig family is, at the very least, unsettling. He seems a bit too excited about the fact that the architect is, well, a pig. On top of that, Mr. Wolf asks a peculiar question. He wants to know if the pig family's house is made of straw. Of course, Daddy Pig quickly responds that it's made of bricks, but the conversation doesn't stop there. Mr. Wolf keeps pushing, asking Daddy Pig what his own house is made of. Daddy Pig, calmly, says his house is also made of bricks, and adds, "Don't even think about it." At first glance, it might seem like a regular client-architect conversation, but when you remember the classic story of the big bad wolf and the three little pigs, it all takes on a more chilling tone. In that story, the wolf huffs and puffs and blows down the pigs' houses. Given the context, it's clear that Daddy Pig realized Mr. Wolf had similar plans for the pig family's house. And what would he do if Peppa's house were made of straw? I don't even want to think about it. But if you enjoy watching Peppa Pig as much as we do, there's only one thing to do. Click on the subscribe button now. Learning challenges. Let's start with a rather peculiar mystery. Peppa is George's older sister, right? But have you noticed that despite this age difference, which, though unclear, seems to be a few good years, they end up studying in the same class and doing the same activities? It's quite curious, isn't it? There's a theory that might explain this, although it's a bit surprising. Some say that Peppa could have learning difficulties, which may have set her back a bit in school, relative to what would be expected for her age. And, well, if we think about it that way, it makes sense. Of course, it could be the other way around, right? Maybe George is a super smart kid and ended up advancing in school, like Edmund Elephant. But if that were the case, you'd expect the characters to mention something about it. And so far, nothing. What we do notice is that the pig family seems to be aware of Peppa's learning challenges, but they choose not to bring it up constantly. Instead, they encourage Peppa to keep going, using her imagination, and learning at her own pace. If this is true, it would indeed be quite shocking. Heavy steps. Oh, and have you noticed something rather peculiar about Daddy Pig? Whenever he walks, the ground seems to shake. Pay attention. This happens in almost every episode, and it's become quite normal for us fans of the series. But it's curious that none of the other characters seem to notice this detail. Nobody says anything. Could it be that everyone is too polite to suggest that Daddy Pig go on a diet? Or maybe it's just one of those mysteries of Peppa Pig's world, where certain things happen, and no one finds it odd. Whatever the case, it's always funny to see the earth-shaking effect that Daddy Pig's walk causes. Grandpa Rad's century-old secret. Now, let's go on a little time travel adventure. In the episode Sea Treasure, Peppa and George are enjoying a beachside camping trip with Granny and Grandpa Pig. And it's there, while they play in the water, that they find something unusual, a floating bottle with a note inside. The most interesting part is that this letter was written by a child named Rad Rabbit, who said he was on vacation with his parents. To top off the surprise, the note even included Rad's phone number. When Peppa asks to call, Granny Pig agrees, and guess who answers? None other than Grandpa Rad. The jaw-dropping revelation is that he's the one who wrote that letter, exactly 100 years ago. So, if he wrote the note when he was about 8 years old, how old would Grandpa Rad be now? He must be the oldest bunny in history. And there you have it. It's amazing how such a seemingly simple show has so many shocking moments, isn't it? But don't stop here. We've prepared 2 more videos just for you to keep enjoying some super fun content with us. Pick your favorite and click to watch. Enjoy, and see you next time!